Hello, good afternoon and welcome. It's VE Day. VE Day, Victory in Europe Day, all those years ago. And we've got a little 1940s playlist. I'm just going to turn it down because I know they're beggars and they'll mute it. But I just thought it'd be fun this afternoon. I'm not walking because it's raining now. I'm under the umbrella in the garden. But I just wanted to show you down at the potager. It made me think today, and I'm sat out here because all those men and women would have been out in the rain and the wind and the cold and the snow throughout the war, suffering all sorts of horrific things. And today's a day we need to remember them, and I thought it would be fun for you to meet Granny Alice and Grampy Raymond, because they're not here to share it with us, but they had their own VE Day. And I know that we're reading Hotel Full of Dreams and it's the last episode tonight, but I actually didn't realise it was VE Day today. Don't you think it's amazing that in the lockdown everybody's sort of having street parties in their gardens and getting together and doing stuff which they wouldn't have done before? They'd have been shopping in IKEA, or they'd be down the garden centre, or they'd be, I don't know, sitting on their Xbox or whatever. And the kids are getting involved and they're baking buns and they're making cakes and they're sharing things with their family and friends, even at social distancing, and all of that is going on. So it's amazing. I'm really blown away by what I've seen on social media today. So I thought this afternoon it'll be fun, instead of doing the walk, because you've all seen the garden yesterday, that we would introduce Alice and Raymond, and I just know this will be a great tribute for them. And obviously they were not around in the days of social media, nor smartphones, nor any of that, but wouldn't it be amazing if they were looking down on us today, me sat in the rain under the umbrella? And I just thought it'd be a great way to pay homage to all my amazing relatives, and we've all got them. We've got granddads and uncles and great uncles who fought in the war. And so I've been telling you for a while on the literary section that we do in the evening, where I've been reading, that I'd like to rewrite my grandma's memoirs. She always said to me, I don't want anyone else to see them, but when I'm gone, you can do what you like with them. And it's not for commercial reasons, it's just for the joy of sharing that with other people. And she typed them on an old typewriter. This is Alice. And this is Alice in her Land Army uniform. And she worked in Scotland and in Yorkshire on the farms. No previous experience at all. She'd worked in a factory with my Auntie Lulu, her sister. And Napo, it's the children. So she'd worked in a factory, in a tailoring factory in Leeds with her sister, and she hated it. She always had delusions of grandeur, my grandma, and she always wanted to be a bit special, and there's nothing wrong with that. We all want to be a bit special. So she used to do all sorts of things, like she tried to put her hands in the machine all the time and get them damaged so she could go to the infirmary, and in the end she got the sack from the factory. And Auntie Lou, her sister, her big sister, was really embarrassed. That's Auntie Lou, who died when she was 108 years old, and she absolutely loved her sister, who brought her up and did everything for her. So Alice she actually went to work for the War Office, which Ministry of Defence, and she worked all her life in the War Office in the Ministry of Defence till she retired, where she used to run a department who bought all of the uniforms for the soldiers, all the colours, all the big ceremonial flags that they hung down the mould were all sewed by the Royal School of Needlework. And she used to run, in those days, I mean, gosh, it's got to be nearly 40 years since she actually retired. So in those days, she ran a budget worth about £5 million a year. And she used to buy the bear skins and all the beautiful outfits that the soldiers wore for ceremonial duties and the trooping of the colour. And she actually went to the trooping of the colour, was invited 3 or 4 times as a guest of the Queen. And I went with her once, and we went to the party afterwards and everything. I was about 8 or 9. Napo, come here, it's raining and you're going to get wet. And yeah, so it was amazing. And so Granny really felt she'd arrived. You know, she had a selection of hats, and she had in the 1940s, when she was in the land army, you know, she thought the uniform was so drab, and you know, I bet she was not chuffed at all to wear those breeches. You know, you can see how fat they make your legs look. She was very conscious of her appearance, and she was a beautiful woman, very pretty lady. Look, you can see her there with her hat. She doesn't look well pleased to be in the photo. Just get rid of that green fly. And then her story went through the war, and she wrote her memoirs, and she met and married Raymond. And there's my wonderful, wonderful Grampy Raymond. That man was the love of my life, more so than my father, my other grandma. But this man helped me to be the person that I am today. And he served in, was over in Egypt a lot of the time, and he taught himself Arabic. He was in Tangier. They spent a lot of time North Africa, and when he came back, I always remember as a little child, I would hear him in the lounge that they had. They lived in a great big old corporation flat in Leeds, and he would have his radiogram playing, and he would have a record on, and he would be speaking in Arabic to the record and repeating everything. And he learnt that because he had some very, very good friends over there. So he served his time out in hot countries, visited the pyramids, and Grampy actually rang the bell. Coming back in 2 minutes because the internet's going on and off, and it's now raining. We've got a storm coming, so we're going to carry on in 2 minutes, and we're going to meet the rest of them. So be back soon, folks.